The world loves a quiet woman until she gets loud. Welcome to the Chisme Corner. I'm your host, V. Rivera, your Latina bestie and go-to chismosa for all the chisme that actually matters. Latina motherhood, beauty, navigating life in your 30s, and keeping our mental health in check. We're keeping it raw, relatable, and a little spicy, but only for the tea. And today we're using Karol G's story to reflect on ambition, identity, softness, doubt, and also reclaiming your narrative. And if you've ever been called dramatic, tú eres una dramática, you're too soft, all because you're simply feeling those feelings out loud, this space is yours. So get comfy, grab your little cafecito because the chisme starts now. Okay, guys, let me quickly reintroduce myself. I know it's been a hot minute and a lot of you are like, bitch, where you been? Where the hell you been? It's been a minute since I have had a microphone in front of my mouth. I'm not even gonna lie. But I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful that you guys are here. And the Chisme Corner is something that is so special to me because I feel like this is just something that is so natural for me. As much as I love chisme, this show was definitely born from chisme nights with my sister, my mom, my abuelita. Like, this is something that I've grown up with, and we just sit down at the table and just talk about whatever comes to mind. And that's always been something that's so special to me. I know people sometimes look at chisme as like something bad, but I don't give it that negative connotation. You look back at moments like that and it's connection, it's comfort, like it's honestly culture. And that's why the Chisme Corner exists, and that's why it is so special to me, and I'm looking forward to it and all the episodes to come. And you guys have no idea just how grateful and excited I am. Pop culture is kind of like that door, like stepping in, but our lived experiences and the things that we go through is the foundation. So I really love that I'm able to blend the two, blending pop culture and blending our own lived in experiences. I'm really excited for that. So we're gonna hop right into it, okay? I watched Karol G Tomorrow Was Beautiful on Netflix. I think it's on Netflix right now, and it's also on Amazon Prime. I advise every woman, especially a Latina, to watch that documentary. I'm still really emotional about it, even just thinking about it. And it really reminded me how hard it is to dream big when we are already in a world that tells us to stay small. Stay small, stay in that box. So the documentary basically follows Karol G's rise to fame and stardom. And she goes from just this little girl from Colombia to this global star. And it took her a really long time to, like, she almost gave up a few times, and it just really mixes like emotional, like all the behind the scenes footage, especially from her tour, the Mañana Será Bonito tour, and just real talk about fame and fear and fighting to be taken seriously, especially being in a male dominated space like reggaeton. I don't know if you guys know the genre of reggaeton, but so reggaeton is basically dominated by men. It's always been like that. And there are women who are really successful in it, but overall it's like a male dominated thing. She was told no about her tour. Like, they looked at her and were like, girl, no, especially because she was trying to do it within under a year's time. And she was told that she shouldn't. And she made a whole tour out of that shit and out of that resistance. And I commend her. I really do, because I think it was one of the highest grossing tours by a Latina woman. And she was the first woman to do a stadium tour. The first Latina woman to do a stadium tour. I think just now she got beat out by Shakira, but it's like, bow down queen. Like, I know she even has a song with Shakira, so I'm sure that doesn't even bother her. Yeah, it ended up becoming something huge. It was record breaking. But imagine if she had taken everything that the doubters were telling her and ran with it. And it also just made me ask the question to myself, like, what parts of myself do I feel like I'm shrinking? You know, because I think we do live in a world where it's easier to just shrink yourself. And it's very hard when you feel like you have to shrink yourself down or just water yourself down for other people around you to feel comfortable. And I feel like I've done that so much in my life. And at the comfortability of others. Like, you shining bright and doing things that you love and enjoy and are fucking good at should not make other people uncomfortable or shouldn't make them look at you a certain way. Like, you should be able to be in those spaces that you're meant to be in and walk in with your head held high and say, bitch, I'm here. I'm here to stay, whether you like it or not. So I regret and I feel bad for that woman that I was, that I felt like I had to water down or be like this little shrunken version of myself to be in certain spaces or be around people. You know that feeling, you know that gut feeling and that intuition that you get when you're just like, it's not clicking for me. Like, I know this is not where I should be. I know that there's something more out there and I need to stop putting myself in this box and thinking like this is where I fit, when no, going outside of the box is where I should be. So her team literally tried to talk her out of greatness and she ignored them. And that hit me because I really felt that too. Like, this podcast, for example, it's no surprise that my last podcast ended. And after that, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I even wanted to hop back on a mic. And I was just like, I wanted to take time to really get this right, which was important to me. But there were other things that I was like, I can do other things and I can work on other things. But it was like, no, why am I pushing myself away from something that I know I love? I love building community. I love podcasting. I love talking to women all around the world and having them tell me, listen, you gave me confidence in this, or you inspired me and you affirmed me. I love that. There's no greater feeling. And that is all I've ever wanted. Just community and connection. Podcasting has given me that. And if I can make a difference in someone's day, even if for an hour, even if just for 20 minutes, that drives me and that makes it so worth it for me. And I've gotten so many DMs from women all over the world telling me how I've helped them with their confidence and even their anxiety, or even something as small as a makeup product. Why would I ever give that up because of just like a hiccup or something that didn't work out? And why would I care what other people think, what I do and what I don't do? Don't ever let other people or circumstances shape your life. You can't do that. And over the past year, over the past year or two, I've opened my eyes to that. And the fact that we're the creators of our own life. We talk a lot about doubters. I've talked a lot in this episode about how people doubted her and told her no, but sometimes the loudest doubter is you, bitch. Sometimes we can be our biggest hater sometimes. And sometimes I'm like, why is my brain doing this to me? Like, you're supposed to be on my team, right? But we can be our loudest doubters. We could be the ones that underestimate ourselves. Like, you might have that voice in your head that's saying like, why bother? Like, who cares? Nobody cares. And that might be true. There might be people that don't care. There's going to be people that don't give a fuck about what you really got to say. But for me, all the other people that do, it trumps that, Her story really flipped that narrative for me, because you don't need everyone to believe in you. All you really need is one person, and that person is you. That's it. So when you finally stop asking for approval and all of that, you're looking for something within other people when it's in you. You have to start trusting yourself. And that's kind of like, I guess in her words, she would call it like the Bichota shift. Like, it's a shift. And I love the fact that she owned the word Bichota and made it something. We're going to get into that later too, because I love that she did that and took a word that's like a male dominated as well and made it into something feminine and strong and powerful. But we'll talk about that later. It's that moment where you go from questioning or overthinking your worth and then stepping into the room and telling everybody else to catch the fuck up. So that's so powerful in and of itself. I want to get into this because everyone that knows me knows I'm probably everyone's real fucking that one Puerto Rican friend that, like, no matter who I get to know, you're gonna know that I'm Puerto Rican. Like, I'm so proud of it. Like, I have a sticker on my car. Everything about me, I embody a Puerto Rican woman, I feel. And I take so much pride in that. I love being Puerto Rican. I love being Latina. It's like, those little boxing gloves that hang in the mirror of your car. Every Puerto Rican got that. It's so funny because I love when people say, oh my God, I just want to be showing off like a Puerto Rican flag. Like, because hell yeah. Like, we love showing off the flag. But I don't know if any of you guys know this, but from 1948 to 1957, it was literally illegal to display the flag, the Puerto Rican flag, anywhere. I feel like that's why we stand in that now, and that's why you see it everywhere, and that's why we are so strong. And that's why we feel so strongly about showing it off. I think that's why, because we were told, it's illegal. Like, you couldn't do that shit before. And that's why it's around our necks and in our cars and in our music, like everywhere. I love how the same love that I have for being Puerto Rican, Karol G embodies that in her music and in being Colombian. She was told that she was too soft and too girly. Not enough to be a female reggaeton artist. And I personally feel like she represents Latinas in the most beautiful way. And women in general. She has this softness about her, but she also has like this strength that shows you, don't mess with me. Like, no matter what, I don't care what you think of me, I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to do it my way. And watching her stand in her softness and, as a Colombian woman in a male-dominated industry, it just made me think, like, how often do we women like us are told that we're, like, too much, like, you're too loud, or you're too girly, or you're too sensitive, or you're too dramatic. Like, oh my God, we get that all the time. I feel like that's such a Latina stereotype too. Like, oh my God, we're super dramatic and we're loud. But like, people automatically like hear that I'm Puerto Rican and they're like, oh, you're loud and you're spicy and you're this and you're that. Like, we're not to anything. Like, we're everything. We are everything. I think one of the most beautiful parts of her doc was she did a tribute to Thalia. She's another really amazing, talented Latina artist. I love her. She's fucking iconic. But seeing her honor another powerful Latina was so powerful, and it just shows how important our roots really are. Like, we're not just pop culture consumers. We are creators of the culture. Like, we are the culture. Period. So when we mix pop culture with our lived-in experiences, it's not just chisme, it's like storytelling, So if you don't like the word chismosa, it's okay. You can call yourself a storyteller, okay? So in the documentary, Karol G also talked about her body image, her anxiety, her heartbreak that she went through, which was really public with Anuel AA, which, let's not even get into him. She was talking about how, like, one day she wakes up and she could have a six-pack, and then the next minute she feels bloated and just totally insecure. And I felt that, because I feel like even the baddest bitches struggle. This is why I always say, like, you could be a saddie, but you gotta know that you're still a baddie. Like, it happens. Like, everybody struggles with something, no matter what it is. I feel like that's the thing. Like, we've been almost taught that showing up and showing emotion equals weakness, but it's not. I totally disagree. I think that's power. I think that's powerful. And especially growing up Latina, like, there's this really unique rule. Like, you got to keep it together. Like, you got to stay strong. God forbid you're not strong. Like, you're not this strong, independent bitch. Bottling things up does not make you stronger. I think it makes you more disconnected than anything, from others, from yourself, which is the most important. And I feel like I lived like that for years. Like, I was very, like, self-sufficient. Like, I wouldn't, like, talk about things. And I felt like I was putting myself in a cage. Like, my silence started to feel like a cage to me. You know how they always say, like, there's always that strong friend and she's always there for everybody else, but she sometimes feels like nobody's there for her. It's okay to be that strong friend and still need support. And everybody should recognize that. Like, you're still a human. And learning that vulnerability does not equal weakness, but using that and knowing that it's a superpower. Listen, I used to be so scared to be vulnerable, because I feel like that side of you, showing that side to somebody, you're giving your deepest side of yourself and trusting and hoping that it doesn't get thrown in your face or used against you. Like, and that's always been the hardest thing for me. And that's something that I still very much struggle with, is being open and vulnerable with people, because I've had things thrown in my face, or I've had, people judge behind my back or learn that they're talking shit. Like, it feels like, for me, just specifically growing up Latina and growing up in this generation, like, being vulnerable feels like an unspoken rule. We're just raised in these cultures where strength is everything. And sometimes I feel like it can be to a point where it's so fucking toxic. Like, just because I feel like the past generations and everyone in our family, in our cultures, like, carried so much. And now we look back and I know, like, I never realized back then, like, my mom didn't have it all together. I think at the age that Vivi is right now is the same age that I am as my mom. And that is crazy to me. Like that hits something different for me because I'm like, holy shit, I don't even feel like I have it all together. Sometimes I don't even feel like a fucking adult. I don't feel like a grown ass adult. Sometimes I still feel like a little, like a 20 something year old in a 30-year-old body. Like I'm still trying to get life together. And yeah, like I've planted all the seeds in my 20s and I'm all the stuff that me and Joe have built in our careers and so much. And I feel like just now we're starting to be like, okay, we can kind of chill and relax. But I still don't feel like I have it all together. There's still so much that I'm clueless about. And it's fucking scary, especially when you're raising kids. It's the scariest thing because it's like, you're asking me questions I don't even know. Like, and I'm the adult. And then I look back and I'm like, I was the same way with my mom. Like, I thought my mom had it all together and she knew she had all the answers and she knew it all. And it's like, bitch, no. There was just no showing it. She was just superwoman and she could handle everything. And not just our moms, like that was also your tias and your abuelitas, and it runs so deep. Like that line runs so deep in the family of just women. And the idea of being too emotional just made you look weak. It made you seem weak. And the fear of judgment. So the fear of being judged and just talked about just made it easier to just like bottle things up. And that's exactly how I was growing up. And I'm still working on it till this day. A lot of the times I deal with things internally because I'm just like, you got this. Like you don't need to depend on nobody else. Like you got this. If anyone can get through it, it's you. I just feel like I need to show the women in my family and show my ancestors that I'm the exact same. Like I am superwoman. I can do what I need. No, this really ties into the expectations of our cultures and how we're raised versus the realities of the modern day world. Now people are so open to talk about their mental health, which I love. I absolutely love. Talking about their mental health struggles, their healing journeys, and just like struggles in general. Things that we're struggling with and working with may not seem like a lot for someone who may have no problem doing those things. Like if you were able to do those things growing up, but for someone like me, it's like a way of breaking generational cycles. And also not just teaching ourselves, but teaching our kids that emotions are not a weakness, especially with little boys. Machismo is so big in our culture. Like, God forbid these men cry. And it's like, this is why people like have such a hard time, I feel, just feeling out their emotions. Thankfully, I have a man who is he's very open with his emotions. Like sometimes I'm like, I wish I could be that way. Like he's very good. I think it just comes down to like learning how to communicate those things too. And therapy. But a lot of people do struggle with these things. And I just feel like feeling is such a beautiful thing. Like once you learn how to feel out those emotions and you just start looking at it as something that's not negative, like it's just human. It's fucking human. So if you're going to take anything from this part of this episode, take this. Feeling your feelings is not dramatic. I think bottling it all up to protect other people's comfort, I think that's the weakness. That's what we have to work on. Especially me. But don't rob yourself of growth just because someone told you that your softness was too loud. Okay, so remember towards kind of like the beginning of the episode when I was telling you guys about the word bichota? So that used to mean like big boss energy, but like in a street level. It was really masculine, but Karol G took that and she kind of flipped it. So originally, la bichota is it's a slang term in Puerto Rico. It's associated with like drug lords, like big time street bosses, And it's usually men. So it has this hyper masculine connotation to it. Everyone kept telling her, again, doubting her, using the word like, no, you cannot use this word. Like people are not going to take it the right way. Just stay away from it, like don't even feed into that. She really fucking went and added her own feminine touch to it. And she turned that shit into like a whole movement. Like I love bichota season. That word is so loud and it's so bold. I think the whole point is that it can be a little too much for some people, but that's the fucking point. Like sometimes people can be a little bit too much, but let them. That is everything. She took a word that was really meant to intimidate people and she turned it into something she turned it into like this feminine power. And that's what being a bichota is all about. It's about walking in your power. It's about walking into a room and owning it and not shrinking yourself into it and making room for other powerful women as well. Stop asking for permission and be the blueprint. Be the fucking blueprint. So I think this just makes you ask yourself, like, why Why are we still waiting for permission? Or what label are we afraid to just own and step into because it's quote unquote too much? Flip it into your Bichota moment, and that is your power. And everybody else in that fucking room can adjust. That's it. So this season of Chisme Corner, this season is called Power. And this is exactly what I felt when I watched this documentary. So I hope you can step into your power. I hope you can feel your power. And I hope you can feel how strong and beautiful and how much of a fucking bichota you are, bro. Because you are that bitch. So walk around and act like it. So before we go, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting this little Latina's dreams. This first episode really means everything to me. And I hope Karol G's story reminds you that, like, you can be soft and you can also be powerful. You could be vulnerable and you can be unstoppable. You can do all of that and you can still shake the world. Like, step into your Bichota season. So I also have a little challenge. I have a little homework for you guys. This week, I really want you guys to pick an area, whether it be your work, your relationship, your own self, whatever it is, where you've been shrinking yourself, and stop it. Stop doing it. Flip the script. Be too much. Be too loud. Do it purposefully. And if you've ever felt like your emotions or your voice was too loud, let me remind you that that's not the case. That was never the problem. If anything, that's your edge. Like, that's what you have going for you. So comment in my YouTube or DM me. I really want to hear about your Bichota moment of the week. And maybe we'll even talk about it and I'll give a shout out on the next episode. And if no one claps when you walk into the room this week, clap for your damn self. Next week, we're going to be really diving into pick me energy, loyalty burnout. Because, girl, the kind of friends who smile in your face but secretly hope you fail. Those are the ones that you need to be aware of. But it's going to be very interesting and I'm really excited. So I hope to see you guys next week. And once again, thank you for listening to the Chisme Corner. Love you guys. Bye.